Side right now, the courtroom of Judge Joseph Toya. He was the judge. Now, we were here at 8:30 in the morning because that's when the sentencing was supposed to start, but it just got over, less than an hour or so ago. But here's kind of what happened in court today. We're going to see a little more of this beating. A prosecutor, I'll take you back to July of 2018, where this sadistic beating, that's basically what the prosecutor said multiple times, and you're going to hear more of that a little bit later. But the bottom line here is that Paul Bashi, he's 37 years old, he's from Macomb County, and he basically pled guilty not too long ago to the charges of assault with attempt to murder. Today was his sentencing. Now, he enters the courtroom about 10:30, but he complains of being sick. Well, the judge said, let's get him examined by a doctor. The doctors did examine him, and then when he came back to court this afternoon, he was in a wheelchair, and the court said, let's just get on with the sentencing. He passed out, but it didn't matter. He understood what was going on. Now, before we got to the actual sentencing, Bashi and his attorneys basically said, we want a new prosecutor on the case because Paul Bashi was being made out to be the victim. We want a new judge on the case because the judge was biased. Didn't work. Judge said, not biased, prosecutor's not biased, let's keep on going. And then his wife took the stand, and his wife basically said, Paul, since he's been out, he's changed, and we're married, and life is good. But let me take you to what the prosecutor said at the time of the sentencing. We're going to go back to July 2018. He's going to describe exactly what Paul Bashi pled guilty to doing to his now wife. Take a look.
Heartless, Judge, sadistic. 107 punches, 85 kicks, 28 stabs, 4 knives that were used for those 28 stabs, dozens of bludgeonings.
Judge Toya, the court has only seen the bad side of Paul. Since he has been released, every day he's been showing me he's a changed man. He realized his mistake and has changed for the better. He goes to counseling, anger management classes, and domestic violence, all on his own.
I'm so grateful for you in my life, and I'm so grateful for my family. And I love you so much, honey, and thank you so much. I wish that just one day come out and enjoy our lives and have a family together.
I don't doubt for a minute that you're not the same person that was on that porch and in that house on that particular day some 3 years ago, despite all the issues. You are not the victim in this case. You're not. Despite everything we heard here today, it's the people of the state of Michigan that brought this case. You are not. I know you've been the focus, but you're not the victim in this case.
Well, the focus was Paul Bashi today, but the judge sentenced him to 14 years in prison. Now, actually, that was an agreement that Paul Bashi made with the prosecutor earlier this year. And the judge said, despite all the attempts to try to lower the sentence or whatever, the judge said, I'm sticking with the 14 years. Now, because Paul Bashi does have some medical conditions, with some evidence maybe he's got some renal failure, he takes shots, he is in need of medical condition, he'll get that, but he's going to get that in the jail. Again, sentencing now, despite the fact that he married the real victim in this case, the judge said 14 years in prison. Huel?
Charlie, the video evidence is overwhelming. To see Paul beating that woman over and over again. Now, if he's really a changed man, and if so, why did he take the plea deal on the assault with intent to murder charge?
Well, it's a great question because that's going to be debated for quite a while. Paul Bashi wanted to withdraw the plea today, but the judge said, 2 reasons he gave. First of all, he did not want to put his new wife and family through a trial, which is very, very, very emotional. Also, he also said basically that the agreement was actually 6 years below the guidelines. So if he did go to trial and got convicted, likely he would get even more prison time than the 14. So there was somewhat of a compromise there. But I think the bigger picture in all this is this domestic violence. And very often, I've been told by so many, that the victim oftentimes goes back to the perpetrator. The difference in this case, real difference, video. the video. And even the prosecution said today, without that video and a witness who did not want to cooperate, Paul Bosch may not have done any prison time.
Johnny, we feel sorry for the woman who was beaten, and sorry too that she will now have to visit her husband in prison for the next several years. Johnny, thank you for that live report.